Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome back to this session Bhakti Gyan course. So today we'll be looking at chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So last time we did up to verse 5. We look at the banyan tree, which is a reflected tree in this material world. So it is complicated, intricate, and completely topsy-turvy, since the roots are upwards and the branches downwards. So the individuals are bird-like, and they frantically search for juicy fruits on the reflected tree, but the substance which brings satisfaction seems to be lacking. So Krishna urges the reader to cut down this illusory tree with a weapon of detachment and end the fertile endeavors for permanent fulfillment in the temporary fantasy world. So very important that we don't stick ourselves to this place here in the material world. We try to engage ourselves in devotional service in the bhakti path so that we can leave this material world being completely in the service of the Lord. So we can continue in text 6. Riansh, you back? Would you like to read the Sanskrit?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Puja Mataji, would you like to read the translation?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Okay. One Riansh.
Yes, Mataji. Text 6. Natarbhasa teso yonasha shangona pavaka yadgatva nivartante taddama paramamama.
That supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or the moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Text 7. Mamaivanso jivaloke jiva bhota sanatana manashashtanindriyane prakritastana krishyati.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind.
Text Shariram Vedavapnote Rucha Mutkramatishvara Ruhaitwale Samyati Vayar Galali Vashayat.
The living entity in the material world carries its different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of a body and again quits it to take another.
Text 9. Shrotam Chakshuspashanam Cha Rasanavuraham Evacha Alishtayam Anashchayam Vishayalupasevate.
The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. It thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
Text Kravaltasya Tavapi Guljala Vagulalvita Vimoranana Pashalti Gyala Chakshusha.
The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in the knowledge can see all this.
Next level. Yatalto Yogilashala Pashalti Atvala Vasita Yatalto Prakarto Valo Lailo Pashalti Chetasa.
The endeavoring transcendentalist who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. Hare Krishna.
Summary of these verses 6 to 11. Krishna gives a glimpse of the spiritual world, showing how its nature is perfect, complete, and fully satisfying to all. Once having gone there, one never returns to this world. Here in the material realm, an individual hope from tree to tree, acquiring various material bodies based on the worldly desires they cultivate throughout life. At the time of death, through the subtle workings of reincarnation, one receives a body which is tailor-made to facilitate such desires. Man proposes, God disposes. Thus, different life situations are meant to teach us a simple lesson. We are looking for the right thing, happiness, but we are looking in the wrong place. So, lesson 61, spiritual world is our real home. So, very important to acquire this knowledge so that we can try to renounce from this one material world and get attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is very important. One whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. So accept a bona fide spiritual master and seek knowledge from him. So then we can really be trained to understand this knowledge and accept it and engage ourselves in devotional service. So let's come up.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. And Lord Krishna is very kind because he's also providing this knowledge, which is actually very hard to access in the Vedas. Krishna is actually summarizing the position of the material world and the position of the spiritual world. And then he's guiding as well Arjun and us as to where we actually belong. And he's putting it in such simple format for us to understand. So this is Bhagavad Gita is something else. Only 700 verses, and not all of them were spoken by Krishna. I think he spoke 576 verses. But those verses, they summarize the whole, Vedic philosophy so amazingly. So we really are lucky that we got this Bhagavad Gita, and we're fortunate that we are going through it slowly, and now in the Purushottam Mass also having the great fortune of going, and trying to understand what the Lord is, the nectar that the Lord is giving us. So spiritual world is our real home. He's really giving it to us so nicely. Naniben, anything from your side?
Yes, if you can go to verse text 10, please. Text 10. Yeah, when it says foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body. Yeah, this sentence I find hard to understand.
I.e., people don't accept they're going to die because they don't understand that they are the soul within that body who will leave that body. So the soul will continue to live. But foolish people, they just think there's, after death, there's nothing. There's nothing after death. But what Krishna is explaining is, no, after death, after the living entity quits the body, they're going somewhere else. And they're going to continue their journey, whether it's upward or downward, they're going to continue.
Yeah. And this what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of modes of nature? Is it after the living entity or half the soul has left the body?
Yeah, correct. So foolish
in the next life.
Exactly. They won't be able to understand that in the next life, that soul will get another body under the spell of modes of material nature.
Okay.
And what type of body? What type? This is the whole problem, isn't it? That, nobody really understands that we're going to continue to live after death, and we're going to get another body. So now we got to prepare for that other body. And this is what Bhagavad Gita does, right? It gives us this roadmap how to live in this world.
Yeah. Now another question is about this living at the end of life. It says that the consciousness or the thoughts are the most thing that matters. But how does it interact with the karmas that we have done with all life?
Correct. Correct. There's three things: karma, how we
Karma.
behave, our
Mhm.
consciousness, what are we thinking at the time of death? That's particularly important. But there's a third element, which is desire. What do we want to, what do we want? Right? Krishna will fulfill our desire. Those three interplay. And those three guide us to the next body. Karma is important because we are going to receive good and bad effects of our karma, of our actions. But consciousness is also important because, as Krishna explains, if somebody remembers him at the time of death, he's going to end up there. But remember Ajamil, for example, he remembered the Lord right at the end, or nearly at the end, and then he was given a second chance, right? It wasn't that he immediately, the Yamadutas took him to Vaikuntha, but he was given a second chance to purify himself. So even somebody may remember God at the end of life, if they're not pure, then they will be given that opportunity to become pure, like Ajamil was given the opportunity. And for the next, whatever, 10 years that he continued to live, he just completely dedicated himself to the service of the devotees. And he perfected his life.
Yeah, that's fine. And the karma that we are, fruitive activities that we are doing or experiencing at the moment, it's partly from the past life, what we have done in the past, and we're getting the results now. And also the new karmas that we are building up for in our next life, isn't it?
Yeah. So a lot of our karmas, so whatever we're doing now, a lot of it will fructify within this very life. But some of it may not, because if there's particularly bad things that we've done, we may take a few, one or two, a few lifetimes for those to fructify. And if we've done something really amazing, good karma, then that again may bring fruits in future lives. But generally speaking, whatever we're doing in this life now, generally speaking, that will reverse in this life, generally speaking.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Karuna, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, this always is in my mind, because when my mother passed away, so she wasn't conscious at all, because
Right.
she had cancer and she couldn't speak, she couldn't. I just wonder whether she was hearing us because we were chanting. And,
Definitely.
so yeah, this whatever desire we had, whatever we have been doing, and whatever is our karma, so this determine the next body. So yeah, this is always a question.
No, but
what is
if
the
one
next body?
has taken shelter of the Lord, that person doesn't care what his consciousness is at the end. He doesn't even care, because he's taken shelter of the Lord. He's going to be protected by the Lord. For him, it doesn't matter whether he's thinking of God or not. It doesn't matter, because he's always taken shelter of God. Why will God abandon him at the time when he's needing the Lord the most? He won't abandon him. So a person who's dedicated themselves to God, they've got nothing to consider. Their karma doesn't matter. Their consciousness doesn't matter. Their desire doesn't matter. Of course, they care. Of course, they care, right? But they don't have to care, because they've taken shelter of God. And the Lord will always protect his devotee.
Yeah.
So, no, you never have to worry. She took shelter of the Lord. She's brought you to Krishna consciousness, the whole family to Krishna consciousness.
Oh yeah.
My goodness,
She has done a lot for the whole family. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, the Lord will, why he won't look after her? Yeah, no, he will.
So we just, even at the last moment also, we just learning from her. It's so she was so peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has always been teaching us so many things, and even her last moment, I think we learned a lot.
Mm.
Mhm.
Excellent. Good. Thank you for sharing, Karuna. Very personal memories.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Praveen.
I just wanted to mention you about, as it said that when you are doing good karmas now, that is from previous life, and then you try to do the good karmas now for your next life. But I heard, like, I'm just generally saying that if person is dying and if he can't say any God name, what happened then? He can't remember the God, because sometimes he want to remember the God, but just 1 minute. Sorry, my husband has come down, but I just wanted to mention it, that what happens then, that if you want to, if you are telling the person, say Ram, Krishna, Krishna, but he can't say it.
Because he's hearing you. He can't say it, but he's hearing you. That is very, very good. He's getting the benefit of listening to the holy name at the time of death. That's really, really good. And if somebody is remembering God throughout their life, but at the end they can't remember God, it's very painful at the time of death. Or they might be, unconscious. God will look after them because throughout their life they've been thinking about God. So even
sometimes
if they can't think of God, it doesn't matter. God will remember them.
Yeah, sometimes people go in the coma.
Coma, yeah, that's right.
And then like they are
Unconscious.
4 days or 5-6 weeks they are in coma.
So that time, that time, obviously consciousness doesn't kick in. So the karmas and the desires will be kicking in. Because their consciousness is gone. So
it's gone.
What they were desiring, what is their karma, that is going to be what is driving their next life.
Next life, all right. Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm just closing my video, but I'm coming back.
Of course. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay. So, Karuna, shall we carry on?
Shall we carry on? It's 7:40.
Oh, no. I think we can probably finish off chapter 15 tomorrow, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, because after that we will start again on the following Monday. So we'll have a 3-day break. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, Prabhuji.
All right. Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Yoga ki jai.
Jai.
Purushottam Manas ki jai.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.